In Module 3, food handlers will learn about the relationship between time and temperature and pathogens, time temperature controlled for safety foods, holding and storage of TCS foods, proper internal cooking temperature of foods, thermometer use and calibration. Food safety starts at purchasing, but where we really get a chance to check things is at receiving. Food handlers responsible for receiving food should consider the following. Cold food should be received at 41 Fahrenheit or colder, except for milk, shelled eggs, live shellfish, and shuck shellfish can come in at 45 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot food should be received at 135 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Frozen food should be received frozen solid with no signs of temperature abuse, like ice crystals or water. Product rotation. First in, first out. FIFO, a method of rotating food to ensure the oldest food is used first. FIFO is a form of time control for safety. Be sure to store foods in a manner where foods with the earliest expiration or use by date are in front of items with later use by or expiration dates. The relationship between temperature and pathogens. Pathogens grow well in TCS foods, if held in the temperature danger zone, TDZ. The temperature danger zone is between 41 to 135. Hot food should be held at 135 or higher. Cold food should be held at 41 or lower. Some pathogens can double every 10 minutes in the temperature range of 70 to 125 Fahrenheit. Keep frozen food frozen solid. Time as well as temperature affects the growth of pathogens. When food is exposed to improper temperature ranges, commonly known as the temperature danger zone or TDZ, for more than 4 hours, it must be thrown out. Therefore, to keep food safe, we must keep it out of the TDZ, or minimize the time it's held in the TDZ. 123foodhandler.com recommends monitoring temperatures by checking the temperature of foods at least every 2 hours. The relationship between temperature and pathogens. We know that time as well as temperature abuse can cause the growth of pathogens when food is exposed to improper temperature ranges during preparation. Further processing may not reduce, eliminate, or lower these pathogens to a safe level. To prevent this, only remove as much food as you can prep in a short period of time. Return foods to the cooler or cook as quickly as possible. What is TCS? It's an acronym. T stands for time and temperature, C stands for controlled, and S stands for safety. Time, temperature, controlled for safety. What is a TCS food? A TCS food is a food requiring time and temperature control for safety. On the next two slides, we will look at the most common TCS foods. These foods share a few things in common. They are a protein or carbohydrate. They are neutral to slightly acidic. They are moist. The following foods require time and temperature control: milk and dairy products, eggs, beef, pork, veal, and lamb, poultry, chicken, turkey, and duck, fish, shellfish, both crustacean and molluscan. Some more foods requiring time and temperature control: baked potatoes, heat treated plant foods like cooked rice, soy and soy products, sliced or diced melons, tomatoes, and leafy greens, raw sprouts, and garlic and oil mixtures. Holding and storage of TCS foods. Since airflow is a requirement for good cooling, do not overload refrigerators or freezers. Food should be returned to refrigeration as soon as possible, if not served. Know what you need from the refrigerator to minimize the time the door is open. Food handlers should always verify that hot holding equipment is maintaining the food's internal temperature at 135 degrees Fahrenheit or above. Food handlers should always verify that cold holding equipment is maintaining the food's internal temperature at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Anytime a food handler notices a food temperature not within proper range, report it to your manager or person in charge. Internal cooking temperature for safe food preparation. Poultry, chicken, turkey, duck, 165 for 15 seconds. Leftovers containing TCS ingredients must be reheated to 165 for 15 seconds. Ground meats, beef, pork, veal, lamb, ground seafood, and eggs for hot holding, 155 for 15 seconds. Whole meats, steaks, chops, seafood, and eggs for immediate service, 145 for 15 seconds. Large roast, 145 for 4 minutes. Plant foods to be hot held, 135. And commercially prepared foods, 135. When cooking in a microwave, all foods are cooked to 165 degrees Fahrenheit and follow the following steps. Cover the food to prevent it from drying out. Rotate or stir the food halfway through the cooking process. Let the food stand for 2 minutes so that the temperature can equalize, and check the temperature of the food in 2 locations to verify that it's 165. When cooling food, it is necessary to cool food in stages. First, you need to quickly bring the temperature from 135 to 70 within 2 hours. Then you can put your food item in the refrigerator or cooler to reduce the temperature from 70 to 41 in 4 more hours. Total cooling time cannot exceed 6 hours. Time temperature controlled for safety food shall be cooled within 4 hours to 41 degrees Fahrenheit or less. If prepared from ingredients at ambient temperatures, such as reconstituted foods and canned tuna. Reheating foods. TCS food that is cooked, cooled, and reheated for hot holding shall be reheated so that all parts of the food reach a temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit for 15 seconds. TCS food reheated in a microwave oven for hot holding shall be reheated so that all parts of the food reach a temperature of at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit, and the food is rotated or stirred, covered, and allowed to stand covered for 2 minutes after reheating. Ready-to-eat TCS food that has been commercially processed and packaged shall be heated to a temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit when being reheated for hot holding. Reheating foods for hot holding shall be done rapidly, and the time may not exceed 2 hours from cold, 41 degrees Fahrenheit, to hot, either 135 degrees Fahrenheit or 165 degrees Fahrenheit. According to Texas food establishment rules, ready-to-eat foods are foods that are in the form that is edible without additional preparation to achieve food safety. Ready-to-eat foods include cooked foods, washed foods, baked goods, sugar, spices, and seasonings. These foods are ready to serve and must be served and stored properly to minimize possibility of contamination or time temperature abuse. Labeling food for storage. Date marking. Ready-to-eat food prepped in-house must have a label. Date marking. Date marking indicates the following when held at 41 or lower for a maximum of 7 days. The date of preparation shall be counted as day 1. A common name for the food. The date or day which the food shall be consumed on the premises, sold, or discarded. Date marking is required when you keep a food for more than 24 hours. Proper methods for thawing foods. Thaw food in a cooler at 41 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Submerge food under cold running water that does not exceed 70 degrees. Thaw food in a microwave. If using this technique, cook food immediately. Thaw food during the cooking process. Food thermometers. Thermometers come in various types and sizes for monitoring food temperature to ensure safe food preparation. Since all food is prepared to a relatively specific internal temperature, thermometers are used to measure these temperatures in either Fahrenheit or Celsius. In the following slides, we will look at the various types of thermometers and how you may calibrate them. If you are ever in doubt, be sure to ask your manager or person in charge. Types of thermometers. Bimetallic stemmed, thermocouples. Thermometers continued. Infrared or laser thermometer. Calibrating thermometers. When should thermometers be calibrated? Bimetallic stem thermometers should be calibrated at least at the beginning of each shift, when dropped, or when concerns regarding accuracy arise. Thermocouples can only be calibrated by the manufacturer or authorized facility, so that care should be used in handling them. Infrared laser thermometers can only be calibrated by the manufacturer or authorized facility. Why calibrate thermometers? For food to be safe for consumption, it must be transported, received, stored, handled, prepared, and held at the right temperatures. Food temperatures must be checked regularly throughout its flow, and the thermometers used must be accurate. Regulatory agencies require it.
According to the Model Food Code, Food temperature measuring devices shall be calibrated in accordance with manufacturer's specifications, as necessary to ensure their accuracy. Food temperature measuring devices that are scaled only in Fahrenheit shall be accurate to plus or minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit in the intended range of use.
Types of calibration: ice point method, on-site thermometer calibration, boiling point method, on-site thermometer calibration, professional calibration service for thermocouple and infrared thermometers by manufacturer and/or authorized facilities. Ice point method: fill a clean and sanitized container with crushed ice. Add cold water to form a watery slush. Place thermometer probe into slush for at least 1 minute, taking care not to let the probe contact the sides or bottom of the container. When using the ice point method, if the thermometer is accurate, it should read 32 degrees Fahrenheit. If your thermometer is not accurate to within plus or minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit, adjust the thermometer by rotating the calibration nut with a wrench or calibration tool. Your thermometer is now ready for use. Store in a clean and sanitized case until needed. The ice point method permits calibration within 1/10 of a degree Fahrenheit. Sanitize thermometers before use and between uses, and calibrate thermometers frequently. Boiling point method: fill a pot with clean water and bring to a boil. Place thermometer into boiling water for at least 30 seconds, taking care not to let the probe contact the sides or bottom of the container. Using the boiling point method, if your thermometer is accurate, it should read 212 degrees Fahrenheit. If your thermometer is not accurate within plus or minus 2 degrees Fahrenheit, adjust the thermometer by rotating the calibration nut with a wrench or calibration tool. Your thermometer is now ready for use. Store in a clean and sanitized case until needed. The boiling point method permits calibration within 1 degree Fahrenheit. Sanitize thermometers before use and between uses, and calibrate thermometers frequently. What is a bimetallic thermometer? How it works. Inside the thermometer, there is what is called the bimetallic strip, which is made up of copper and invar. When exposed to hot or cold, the metals expand or contract, which causes the pointer to move up or down. Calibration nut. The calibration nut is located at the base of the indicator head. Thermometers can be calibrated by turning this nut with a wrench or calibration tool. Sensing area. The bimetallic thermometer must be inserted into something deep enough for the dimple to be near the center of the product being checked. How to measure the temperature of food. Food handlers must use the proper thermometer for the food being measured. Make sure the thermometer is ready to be used. It must be cleaned and sanitized. It must be accurate. Check the internal temperature the correct way. Put the thermometer into the thickest part. Wait until the reading steadies. Take a reading in at least 2 spots. Clean and sanitize the thermometer after each use, before storing, and remember to keep the case cleaned and sanitized. It does no good to place a clean, sanitized thermometer in a dirty case. Module 3, Post-Test. You are almost finished with Module 3. There are 4 multiple-choice questions you must answer to demonstrate understanding. Read the questions and select the best answer. You are required to get 75% or 3 correct to move on to the next module.